Hello my lovelies and welcome to another video. Today's one we are gonna talk about a very controversial topic of fashion trends. It's not really a controversial topic, I guess, in the sense of it. There's this whole debate, should trends be followed or not? And I always like to touch base on that topic at the beginning of this like yearly trends video, because I think you should follow the trends that you like and enjoy. And if you do not like a particular trend, you definitely do not need to buy into it or follow it. We can just ignore it. In fact, in my last year's trends video, which by the way, if you watch it back, you can see that I pretty much predicted. I mean, not that I predicted. The trick is that I attend New York, London, Milan, Paris fashion weeks twice a year at least, plus coutures. So I get to see what's gonna be in the shops before, like 6 months before, if not even more. And that way I can kind of report to you guys, which is very, very useful for both me and you guys. Now watching this from your comfy homes, you don't have to go around the world to kind of like make some notes and later on present it. So I can do that for you. I said in the last year's video that I kind of look at the trend like I do at horoscope. If I read a horoscope by any chance and it says you're going to have a wonderful day, I'm like, yep, I believe in it. But if it says you're going to have a terrible day, I'm like, oh, this is not right. I don't believe in horoscope. So it's the same thing with the trend. If I see a trend I like, I'm like, yes, jumping on it. But if I see one that I'm just not going to enjoy and it's not my vibe, then skip. That's what I advise. I also think that some trends are so unwearable and so editorial and very artistic and beautiful to look at, but kind of not really adaptable to our everyday life and lifestyle and work life and whatnot. So long story short, I'm going to try and focus on telling you how you can be on the side of like wearable trends this year, but also not waste your money on things that are just going to be one-hit wonders. Okay? So, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, I would like to ask you to subscribe to my channel because my team would be very happy. It would mean so much to us. No deeper kind of science to it. And I'm sure while they're watching this video or editing this video, they're all like nodding while I'm saying this, but we all would be very happy if you would subscribe. It's free of charge. And if you enjoy fashion, beauty, lifestyle, and a bit of like life advice videos, then definitely become part of our online family and part of my best friends. Online best friends. So, have you subscribed already? Let's start. So the first trend that I would like to mention is sort of like utility dressing. Now, there are like few different kind of things that I've seen on runway when it comes to this one. A lot of like big pockets, but slim big pockets, not like 2021 or 90s cargo pant, more like think of 2024 Saint Laurent pockets, you know what I mean? Or like Prada jacket pockets, that kind of vibe, utility dressing, but very often over a glamorous, elegant dress. Now, for me personally, wearing like a big jacket over a glamorous dress sounds great for fashion week, but that's like not enough days in the year. And from this kind of trend, I would prefer classic slim utility pants or jackets. In fact, utility jackets are my favorite. So I have two that come to my mind from Magda Buttram that I think are insane. And one of them is burgundy and one of them is red shiny that you haven't seen just yet. But it's literally like it's hanging there on the door because it's just coming into my wardrobe. It's brand new. And I think those kind of pieces are great. I already kind of started a little bit sort of like introducing them into my wardrobe, as well as my new ski suit that you could have seen in my San Moritz vlog was a little bit of that kind of style jacket, utility, big oversized. Now, when it comes to runway, we saw a lot of utility dressing on Louis Vuitton show, nothing new for Nicolas Ghesquière, but also Prada did so much of this, as well as Burberry. So those are the kind of pieces that I believe are really, really great. Now, if you would like to see a very much like a wearable summary of 2025 trends, as well with some like kind of what to buy guidelines, I have written a whole blog post on that topic, so you can check that out as well after you watch this video, of course. But I will link it below so you guys can enjoy it. Now, the trend number two is sort of like masculine suits, but that are comfortable. There are obviously those kind of suits that are masculine and kind of like business-like, but they're comfortable, they're soft, they're wearable, and they're not so structured and conformed anymore. They're a bit flowy. They go with like a trench coat over it, and you look like a typical kind of like that power style, maybe even with a tie. I am loving that. Again, I think like I even saw some pieces at Cause and Massimo Dutti in case you wanted more like high street versions. I always think like when it comes to high street, Cause and Massimo Dutti do great interpretation of runways. And then, of course, who would I be if I don't mention the Row, Magda Butchroom? I think they did like really good, that like masculine, feminine style. I really love that trend, and I think that's one of the trends that I will probably be enjoying the most. There is a brand that I think does incredible masculine, feminine variation, especially because they use upcycled menswear to make women's wear, and the brand is called Better. It's actually a brand by my friend Julie Pelifas, and she did such an incredible job. If you look at the collections, and obviously since it's upcycled, it also kind of has a great story. I think chef's kiss if you like that masculine feminine vibe. Now the next one's been kind of like coming in and out and it's been touching, but I am telling you it's really gonna be here now, and we're talking about plaid or tartan or check print, however you want to call it. Ever since the Dior cruise show in Scotland, which was obviously very tartan heavy. I mean, Dior just loves tartan, right? Dior's always loved tartan. That's been kind of around touching base for the past, I would say, like 5 years. But besides Dior, we've seen a lot of tartan in Bottega Veneta collection, as well as Miu Miu, as well as Prada. I mean, I just got that new sort of like check print Prada shirt. I got a few Miu Miu check pieces as well. I'm just looking around my wardrobe to see and find some inspiration. You definitely will find some great plaid print as well in the Sakai latest collection as well. In general, plaid has just been all around. And there was a moment, I don't know if you guys will remember this, around 5, 6, maybe even more years ago when like Versace went all plaid, as well like Dior went full plaid. And this is something that is coming back in a more casual way. So like the plaid shirts and skirts and those type of pieces that really can complete every look. Now something again that already started in 2024, I would say it's the sheer trend. It got to a point where I even got a little bit like, wait a second, this is not even sheer. Why are we going this far? It got to a point where I personally believe it's gone a little bit far in sheer dressing. I think I looked at one point of like Saint Laurent's collection, and it was so sheer that it was like almost like, well, why even bother dressing? If I'm going in this kind of see-through clothes, I might not even wear any clothes. But I have to say that this season's shears, especially for spring summer 25 shears, are very much more sophisticated shears. And I love the Hermes spring summer 25 shears because they're like little sheer tops with kind of like camouflage parts that you don't want to worry about. You know what I mean? And I think Hermes spring summer 25 or Hermes any runway collection, if you just look at that collection, you will be able to identify so many trends for the coming season, because Hermes, Nadege, she just got it. Like, you know, she just knows how to be that visionary in a classic way. And that's what I love. It's easy to kind of do a collection which is going to be so dramatic and eccentric but unwearable, but try and make something that is really setting the trends and setting the tone of voice for the year, but is wearable. That's where I think Hermes is really excelling. I think, again, Prada, kind of similar vibe. Prada is always setting trends and speaking to the visionaries of the fashion industry. So if you look at Prada and Hermes, I think Delcourt had like quite a few beautiful sheer pieces as well. Sheer pieces in general were kind of following some other trends, such as like pastel and romantic vibes, which I guess they're like a little bit intertwined, but we will touch base on those in a little bit. Now, when it comes to me, I think you can definitely like wear sheer without it being too revealing, and that's the goal. So I was just telling you a little bit about kind of soft romance, you know, just softness, like feminine softness, okay? Think about Chloe. This brand is just like the return of Chloe has been so majestic, and Chloe is also kind of like changing the direction, like paving that like boho romantic, feminine, sheer, pastel like kind of path for all the girlies that want to follow that boho energy, soft, a little bit almost like you can even be a goth, I want to say, because there's also that kind of like dark romance trend in this year. I'm not really going to focus on the dark romance because I feel like it's so opposite to what I am. But Chloe, wow. I mean, think about the beautiful like frills and silk and that power feminine vibe that is like so powerful, that is not afraid to be vulnerable and to show the softness to the outer world. That's kind of how I see it. But besides Chloe, which I think is completely like kind of taking the reign in this field, I would say also Alaya and Stella McCartney have done an incredible job with really highlighting the feminine softness in their collections. And of course, we know that these are the brands that High Street loves to copy and follow. I know I mentioned already when we were talking about kind of the sheerness, and then we mentioned the soft energy of dressing, and the next one would be my pastel, I would say the powdery pink tones. We started a little bit already, and I've told you in my best and worst purchases, please prevent me from buying any more pink clothing. I just don't get to wear it. I bought in 2024 a pair of pink ballerina shoes, never wore them. I bought several pink cohort sets, knits, never made it day of life. But one thing that I love to wear in color pink are dresses, especially when they're like Magda Butrym dresses, organza dresses, like Prada dresses. I just love that like powdery pink. It kind of speaks to my soul because I feel like when it's a dress, it's a little bit different. It's not like it doesn't have to be too girly. I also think that like a pastel pink suit can look super powerful if you ask me. Now, you know, like trends are so closely related to whatever is happening in the world, to the socio-economic situation, to political kind of affairs. And that's what I find really interesting about fashion. I have to say that obviously after pandemic, we went into that kind of like maximalism, feathers and crystals and crazy all out era that now is almost like a little bit vulgar. But then we went through this like quiet luxury, like minimalism that got boring really fast. And when there's too much of anything, it just gets boring. So too much of everything got boring and too much of nothing got boring. And now we're trying to find a balance between the two. I think one thing that is going to be like really highlighted in 2025 is the era of personality. If you don't have the personality, it's just what do you have? We need something. Even the basic tank top that was like trendy for like a while, it's getting upgraded. Even a basic tank top wants a little hand here, or a little twist, or a knot, or a cutout, or a crystal, or something, because we are upgrading and personalizing and adding extra personality. I don't want to say we're going to maximalism, but think about Valentino. The new Valentino with Alessandro Michele is getting this kind of like a new direction of like a headpiece or a statement jewelry or something that is telling a story of uniqueness and personality and just in generally like getting it, you know? You don't have to wear a whole like a cape and a turban and a feather pen and like I don't know, a little crystallized clutch and shoes. But you can have like a pair of jeans, a white t-shirt and crystallized shoes. And that's where your personality might really come to play in that sense, which I think, you know, we are, yes, we don't want to go all the way to maximalism, but we need to add a bit of personality. And I think big personalities are definitely going to get highlighted in 2025. I know that florals for spring are groundbreaking, but we kind of got off the florals. Like, remind me of the last floral print that you bought, or like floral print something. I feel like there was such an era of Zimmerman in 2018 and 19, and we were like, I don't remember the last kind of floral dress I got. But then I wore this beautiful floral dress in Dubai that was by Magda Buttram. And I was just like, yes, I absolutely, absolutely love it. And I'm so here for it. And then I saw the Loewe collection, I saw the Prada collection, and I saw the Chloe collection. And I was like, these people know something we don't know. There is a lot more floraling around. We are going full on floral for spring summer, and yes, it is groundbreaking because we went off florals. So how do you feel about that? Are you ready to wear another floral dress or a first floral dress? Are you ready to go back to prints? Because I'm not sure if I'm ready. But saying that, I really loved that dress because I felt like it was really balancing well the color palette of it being still kind of pastel and soft and not too contrasty for it to be floral. So it kind of made sense. It was almost like minimal floral, okay? We're not talking about grandma skirt and floral. We're talking about soft, gentle, again, maybe sheer, maybe pastel, and maybe feminine, organza-y, frilly floral that just speaks to our soul. Yeah, definitely blame Loewe, Chloe, and Prada for this one. Now, one that you might have seen around, but you're like haven't even really noticed it, is this kind of like a skirt. It's not really a skirt, it's a skirt over trousers, which gives me a lot of childhood trauma. I'll tell you why. But it's a skirt over trousers kind of trend that I've seen at Kate a lot. I've seen it a lot at Hermes. I think like one of the first looks had this like kind of skirt over trousers combo, and I thought it was amazing. We've seen it a lot at Alaya in the past, and of course Rock, but it's kind of very much in the Rock's DNA to do pieces like that. I remember I was like 16 and I started experimenting with clothing. I would wear like a pair of denim with, I would wear a tank top where I would put my legs through the arms, right? And then I would twist it over the trousers. So it looked like it was like a slim skirt over denim. And people in my school would mock me, but I really enjoyed wearing this. I was like, I love this, right? It was something that I thought always was very flattering. And then a year of me enduring this mockery, other people started wearing it too. And I'm not saying I set a trend. I'm just saying that sometimes we see something that we think it's ridiculous, but once we get used to it, we start enjoying it. Once the trend sticks around and endures the first mockery phase, we start loving it, and that's okay. I am a little bit permalosa, as Italians would say, which means like someone that tends to hold on to that negative feeling, like people mocking me and then wearing it. At first I was like, now you wear it too, huh? But now I actually think that was like a very important part of my evolution in fashion and kind of understanding how I do things and why I do them a certain way. But I just like what I like, and I do think that skirt over trousers can be very, very flattering. Trust me on that one. I know it seems a little bit impractical, it seems a little bit whatever, but Kate is one of those brands that I love so much. They've done a lot of also like the pastel and feminine dressing and sheer dressing in the past seasons, and I think it's one of those brands that also is super visionary and trend setting when it comes to trends and fashion and the direction of fashion. So when they did like this whole like skirt over trousers, I was like, you know something. So those were my kind of trends that I pulled out based on the runway collections that I have seen in New York, London, Milan, and Paris. I hope you enjoyed this video, but before we finish, I wanted to tell you about trends that I think are very wearable and things that you will see constantly and everywhere that will directly influence and affect your shopping decisions. So I wanted to tell you more of which and less of which. Are you ready? One thing I'd have to say is that suede loafers are going to be here to stay. Loafers, suede loafers, we love. Yes, we are going to go a little bit in the direction of high heels now, or like Chloe platform direction for the spring, but we're still going to love our loafers as we realize that we enjoy comfort so much, and suede loafers are something that is here to stay. So if you were thinking of buying a pair of loafers or suede loafers, don't worry, you'll do good, okay? I think the chocolate brown color is still here to stay. This is like already like third year. It started in 2023, 2024, 2025. But do you want me to tell you the real secret of the kind of like next hot color of the season? It's still gonna take a while to get there, but trust me, it's going to be olive green. I can see it, and it's gonna like transfer slowly from brown to olive green. You will see. So we're talking about khaki color, brown, and we're talking about pastels for the year. So your beige and brown and gray and monochrome kind of quiet dressing will add a pastel color or a touch of green. Big bags, I've announced this in 2023, guys. I mean, like, you didn't trust me back then. Then in 2024, you were like, okay, she was right, but they're here to stay, and also especially big structured bags. So kind of like briefcases almost, or like think about my Gucci Blondie, or, you know, think about obviously how much we've loved the Raw Margot, but maybe it's a little bit too soft now. We want structure. We want this kind of vibe, like the new Prada bag in suede that I got, or the bigger, the more structured, the better, the cooler. We just love it. We also will love very, very much so this year those kind of crazy accessories like, I don't know, like keys around the neck, earpods around the neck, turbans, hats, anything that is a little bit eccentric on a very basic look will be that thing that is adding personality that I was telling you about before. So think about like a classic staple look from 2024, adding a turban or adding something around the neck. That's the kind of direction we're going to, and that's how we're going to try adding personality. Pencil skirts. We went midi. Now we're going maxi. I just bought 3 pencil skirts. Look, they're next to me, literally, because we just folded them this morning. This is one from Better. You see, I'll link them below for you guys, but you can't really see them like this. You'll have to check them out on the website. And I got this really long maxi one from The Row that I think is going to be so good. So good. But also think about my suede maxi skirt in color brown that I worn a lot. Think about my wardrobe New York City maxi skirts. Those kind of pencil maxis or pencil midis will be still super hot in 2025. 2024 was a year of staples, and we love the staples, like a white t-shirt. Every brand did a white t-shirt. Every single brand. The Row did a white t-shirt. Kate did a white t-shirt. Totem did a white. Every brand did a white t-shirt, and we're still gonna love a white t-shirt, but with a twist. And in the same way, we're gonna love a tank top, like I said, with a twist, like tank top with on steroids with some extra, maybe in leather, like a tank top in leather, tank top in sheer organza. We're gonna love tank tops, but we want personality. So those are some of the things. I could talk about trends for another year, but let me know if you would like to see maybe beauty trends for 2025. I will totally be down to filming that as well, in case you're curious. Until then, I'll see you in my next video. Don't forget, all the videos are going live on Wednesday and Sunday at 8 p.m. Central European Time. Make sure that you're subscribed. Thank you so much for watching. Again, I really appreciate your time and I really appreciate you. I'll see you in my next one. Bye, guys.